Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at something absolutely massive, the Abbasid Revolution. This was, without a doubt, the undisputed engine of the Islamic Golden Age. Let's get right into it.
Picture this. We're zooming straight into 9th century Baghdad. It's the undisputed, beating heart of a sprawling, cosmopolitan empire that essentially bridged the East and the West. This was the global center of knowledge.
Section 1. The Center of Knowledge.
Okay, let's dive into this. The preceding dynasty, the Umayyads, were aggressively focused on military expansion and Arab superiority across the Mediterranean. But the Abbasids, they radically pivoted. They essentially traded the sword for the pen, favoring intellect, inclusivity of non-Arab scholars, and a relentless, empire-wide expansion of knowledge. Part 2. The House of Wisdom.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of the collaboration. We're talking about an epic translation movement here. Inside the House of Wisdom, the Bayt al-Hikmah, you had Christian, Jewish, and Muslim scholars working side by side. They were taking ancient secrets from Persia, India, and Greece and synthesizing them into groundbreaking new science.
There is a famous saying from this era that really hits the nail on the head. The ink of a scholar is more holy than the blood of a martyr. Think about that for a second. This core cultural mandate is exactly what drove leaders, like Caliph al-Ma'mun, to fund what was basically a massive multilingual research institute.
Section 3. Father of the Algorithm.
You really can't talk about this era without mentioning a man named Al-Khwarizmi. This guy absolutely shattered paradigms. He wrote a revolutionary book on algebra, which, you guessed it, gives us the word algebra. He took complicated Greek geometry and replaced it with systematic equations to solve everyday problems like trade and inheritance. Oh, and his Latinized name, Al-Khwarizmi. That literally gave birth to the word algorithm. Let's move on and see how this builds, because the chain of events here is breathtaking. Algebra spawned algorithms. Those algorithms built the foundation for modern programming and computing. And that programming, it directly powers the machine learning and artificial intelligence running on your smartphone right now. Part 4. Revolutions in Medicine. The medical innovation happening at this time was just staggering. We're talking over 800 doctors operating in 9th century Baghdad alone. They invented surgical wound sutures, they made the very first clinical distinction between measles and smallpox, and we absolutely have to mention Ibn Sina's Canon of Medicine, a monumental text that literally served as Europe's definitive medical textbook for centuries.
Section 5. The Power of Paper.
And this brilliantly illustrates the unsung technological hero of the era. Look, back then, parchment was the standard. But it was made of sheepskin. It was heavy, incredibly expensive, smelled terrible, and actually swelled up in the rain. But by adopting Chinese paper-making technology, they began producing cheap, lightweight paper from cotton and linen. It was highly accessible, and it instantly sparked a medieval information revolution. Part 6. The Global Legacy. When you map it all out, you can literally trace the glowing lines of knowledge spreading outward from Baghdad, straight across the world. The algorithms, the medicine, the translated texts, they directly ignited the European Renaissance. So it really leaves us with one massive, lingering question. Where would modern science, medicine, and computing be today without the scholars of the House of Wisdom? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.